Formula One season ended with a major comeback for McLaren driver Lando Norris. He celebrated his first ever F1 World Championship win yesterday after making the podium at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in the final race of 2025.
Okay, Norris finished third behind rivals Max Verstappen of Red Bull and his McLaren teammate Oscar Piastri, closing out a captivating and unpredictable season.
NBC's Sahil Kapur joins us now with all the highlights. Sahil, good morning. Now, it's not your usual wheelhouse, but you and I, we're always texting and talking about this. We're both huge F1 fans, so I'm really excited that you're joining us to talk about this today. I mean, I know this is like kind of wonky if you don't watch the sport, even though now a lot of Americans do, which is exciting, but it really was like set up just like something out of a movie. The fact that it came down to this final race, the fact that it was so close between all three of those people, Lando, Max, and Oscar, and the fact that Lando, this is also wonky, he didn't even have to win the race in order to be the champion this season, just as long as he came in at least third. Walk us through what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, just an absolutely extraordinary season, Savannah. I would put Lando's championship win down to three things: consistency, him peaking at the right time, and executing in the last race. By consistency, I mean Lando had more podiums than any of the three title contenders, and that really mattered in the end when it came to the point spread. Even when he had bad races, he didn't fall too far. He peaked at the perfect time in the final stretch of the season, especially in October and November. I'm thinking the races in Mexico and Brazil. He just crushed the competition and gained a lot of points, which gave him that buffer toward the end, which he was able to use. And then most notably, as you mentioned, in the last race, he knew he didn't have to take risks. He could play the long game. He just needed a podium. Oscar was pretty speedy at the beginning. In the first lap, he overtook Lando off the line, but Lando said, you can go ahead, it doesn't matter, I just need third place. And McLaren made a smart move in splitting the strategies to try to get Oscar to attack Max. So in the end, just 2 points. Lando won by just 2 points over Max Verstappen, one of the closest championship battles in F1 history. I've been watching the sport since I was a kid in the 1990s. This is probably top 3 or top 4 most exciting seasons I've ever seen.
Yeah, getting a lot of attention. We mentioned this is Norris's first world champion title. Does this, I guess, take him to a new level of international stardom?
Oh, it absolutely will. He's the 35th world champion in F1 history. He's already rated in fan polls as one of the most popular, if not the most popular driver in the sport. And part of the reason is the way he carries himself. Savannah, you and I have both interviewed him. He carries himself with an authenticity. He's not as aggressive as other drivers. He has a vulnerability. He doesn't have daggers in his eyes. He's just relatable, and people like him largely for that reason. You know, he talked about he's been dreaming about this since he was a kid. He's finally achieved that dream. Take a listen.
I've achieved my dream, that little boy's dream. Yeah, me as a 6-year-old, you know, like seeing it on TV, thinking, "Wow, I want to do that," and now I'm here and achieving it. This is crazy.
And one of the things that makes this championship more special for Lando is that he dethroned Max Verstappen, who, despite losing the championship this season, put himself in the conversation for greatest of all time by driving impressively, by overperforming that Red Bull, in the same way that Max beat one of the greatest of all time, Lewis Hamilton, or Fernando Alonso did with Michael Schumacher. That makes the championship a little bit more special.
Okay, I just love Lando, which is not a secret. I don't think here. I've go-karted with Lando. I've mini-golfed with Lando. He is just so, oh, there. We always have that video ready to go. He is just so much fun. Also, Sahil was just like absolutely adorable how much he was crying yesterday. He didn't want to take his helmet off because he was just like had all these tears going on, and I think he said he was like, I feel like a loser that I'm crying so much, but it was so sweet. It's also really interesting, Sahil, one of the quirks of the sport, right, is the fact that you have a teammate who really, for a lot of all intents and purposes, is not actually really your teammate. Like, you are still in competition with them. Sure, sometimes you can have a strategy if your team principal is sort of thinking that way, where you're going to work together to maybe make something happen on the grid with everybody. But this is a huge success story with them, because both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri on the podium, they really just had such a strong season. And that was a big sort of fortune turnaround for this team this year.
It absolutely was. And yes, in F1, it's unique because your teammate is also your biggest competitor, unlike other sports. But McLaren had this extraordinary turnaround since 2019 when Lando first joined. They were not a strong car. They were languishing in the midfield, sometimes toward the back of the pack. And, you know, they changed their leadership structure. They developed the car differently. This is one of the things where drivers matter. You know, there's a trope in F1 that some people have that I don't like, that, you know, it's just the fastest car that always wins. Well, you don't just parachute into the fastest car by accident. It was Lando helping develop that car, giving feedback, and that new leadership structure that he really gelled with and helped galvanize that team over the last 6 years. In the same way that, you know, Michael Jordan didn't win championships without Scottie Pippen or Phil Jackson, but that doesn't devalue, the team he built around him, because he was an essential component of it and he executed where it counted. Same with Lando here, guys.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.